Hey guys, what's up? If you're new, hi, I'm Nims and I really hope you'll stick around by simply hitting the subscribe button that's just down below. So fun fact, this was actually the first time that I did faux locks and I was pretty nervous and excited at the same time, and I'm so happy with how they turned out. So do continue watching to see the whole process, and again, thank you so much for joining me. Let's get to the tutorial. Let me walk you guys through what I used for these faux locks real quick. So number one is I used Afro Kinky in the color number 1 from Darlene. So I used 2 packs of that, and I actually went ahead and fluffed out the first pack. I recommend you fluff out the hair before you start, like a few hours before you start crocheting it, just to save yourself some time. Though I would highly recommend you go in with fluffy kinky instead of Afro Kinky. I found that the Afro Kinky was a bit hard to work with as compared to fluffy kinky for this particular style. But if you have Afro Kinky, it's well and good. You can use whichever one you have between the two. So like I said, I'm personally using 2 packs of Afro Kinky in color number 1. So next up, I used 1 pack of the Spanish bulk in color number 1 as well. And why I decided to go in with the Spanish bulk is because I was going for the goddess faux lock look. And what gives the faux locks that goddess look is when they have the curly thing going on at the ends for that goddess look effect. So like I said, I only used 1 pack of this hair, and that was more than enough. I'm going to be using this on the curly hair, the Spanish bulk, because I find that it's really hard to work with curly hair because it's like it gets all over the place. So with gel, you're able to manage it and deal with the flyaways, and again, you're able to define the curl part with a wide tooth comb to comb out the Afro Kinky hair, just so I get a really smooth braid to work with, especially on the ends. We have a crochet hook because I'm going to be crocheting in the Afro Kinky hair and the Spanish bulk into my natural hair. So just stick around to see how I'm going to do that. And let's begin. So I've gone ahead and pre-parted my hair, and I've just used rubber bands to like hold the sections in place. And now I'm just going to go in and make the 3-strand twists one at a time. So it's going to take a minute, but it's going to be worth it. So let's go ahead and start the 3-strand twists. After 5 3-strand twists, I started to get a bit impatient. So I decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and start these faux locks. I cannot wait any longer, because initially the plan was to do my entire head, like to just do the 3-strand twist first all over my head, but I couldn't wait. I got a bit too excited. So I decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and start these faux locks. So here is a step-by-step breakdown of what is going to happen now. So step 1 is we're going to crochet in the Spanish bulk, the curly hair that is. So that's the first thing you're going to crochet into the 3-strand twist that you made. So in my case, I'm going to start it off with this particular 3-strand twist. So crochet that in the middle of the 3-strand twist. Next up, we're going to use before I forget, what you need to do when you're crocheting in the Spanish bulk is pull it to whatever length you want your locks to be. So if you want your locks to be like somewhere let's say just below your shoulders, then you pull the Spanish bulk to that length. If you want them to be, let's say, just a bit like almost to your waistline, then you pull the braid to that length, depending on the length of the curly hair you're using. So in my case, I'm pulling the hair to like somewhere just below my shoulders, because it can go all the way to the waist because it's not that long. So just keep that in mind. If I'm not making any sense, then just pay attention to what I'm doing. Maybe that will be easier. So step 2 is we're going to then go in with the Afro kinky hair and crochet that into the same section. So when you're crocheting in the Afro kinky, just remember to pull it a tiny bit. Just don't pull it halfway, just a tiny bit, because the whole braid can't go in through that tiny section of 3-strand twist that you've made. It's going to be really painful so don't try to pull the entire thing through a tiny section of hair. So now that you have that done, the next thing we need to do is you need to hold the hair in a certain way before you can start wrapping your faux lock. So how you hold the hair, if you're right-handed, you need to hold the length of your natural hair, the Spanish bulk, and the tiny bit of Afro kinky in one hand. Okay, you're going to hold those three in your left hand, and then you're going to hold the longer length of the Afro kinky in your right hand and begin wrapping. It's that simple. If I still don't make any sense, just pay attention to what I'm doing in the video. It's that simple, guys. So one major key that I want to share with you guys is you will not get it right the first time, or rather you might not get it right the first time. Like I didn't get it right the first time, so do not give up. I actually ended up doing the first one like 3 times. I did it the first time and then I unraveled it again and again until eventually I started to get the hang of it. So do not give up. If the first one you do is not turning out like it should, don't give up. After that disaster, let's just try this one more time. Yeah, so again, you start by crocheting in the Spanish bulk into that little section, into that little 3-strand twist that you made. So don't use too much of the Spanish bulk, by the way, just a tiny bit of it. Don't use too much because it's going to look weird, so don't go ham on it. Number 2, we go in with the Afro kinky hair. So first off, you comb it out and then you crochet it in. Number 3, you hold the Spanish bulk, the length of your natural hair, and the tiny bit of the Afro kinky in your left hand, and then you hold the longer strand of the Afro kinky in your right hand, and you're set to start wrapping. Now, when it comes to wrapping, here is something that I realized. So when it comes to wrapping, I finally figured out what I was doing wrong, and I'm going to show you a side-by-side clip of how I was doing it before and how I figured out you should actually be doing it. So pay close attention to the 2 clips just to see how big of a difference it makes when you, depending on your technique of wrapping, how big the technique of wrapping affects how your faux locks turn out. So just pay attention to the 2 clips that I'm going to play side by side, and hopefully you will get the hang of it. Yeah. The right way to wrap the hair is by simply laying it over your middle finger before going ahead to make the wrap. I really hope I'm making sense. So just lay it on your middle finger before going ahead to make the wrap. That's simple. Okay guys, I am back. So the first few clips you saw were actually shot 3 days ago. Yes, I started this hair 3 days ago and it's actually taken me 2 days, 1 full day and 2 nights to finish this hair. I've done pretty much like almost all of it. Well, apart from the front, I saved that bit for you guys. It's important to say I'm coming at you with 0 makeup on. Usually I have lipstick on and I've done my eyebrows, but today we're just going to work with it. So the first step is I start off with a section The first step is I start off with a section that looks a lot like this. So I've just pre-parted the hair using this rubber band just to hold the section in place. So what I do is I take that off and then I braid my own hair. I braid my own hair using a 3-strand twist. Yeah, so that's what we're going to start with. So first step is we take our Spanish bulk. That's the curly hair, and take a small portion of that, a section that's like that tiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the hair to be longer on one side, to be how long I want the rest, to how long I want the braid to be. So I'm going to leave out that much hair. So next step, crochet in the combed out Afro Kinky. So we have our natural hair, we have a tiny bit of the Afro Kinky hair, and then we have the Spanish curl. So what you do is you hold everything else together apart from the longer end of the Afro. Then you begin wrapping. Use my middle finger. I'm not I'm not doing this like to no, I'm not like trying to say fuck you guys. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to demonstrate what's happening. So I use this. I use my middle finger to lay the hair onto before I can wrap it. I found that is what worked for me. This way the hair does not unravel. So yeah. And then as you go, remember to tug on the hair. Yeah, just remember to tug on it just so it's tight and secure and it doesn't unravel. So once you get to the end, to the length that you want your whatever to be, your faux lock to be, what you'll do is you'll just start wrapping going up. What I'm going to do with this left section is I'm going to start wrapping it going upwards. Yeah. The next thing you need to do is to seal the ends, and you can do this using a few things. You could either use heat, like for instance in this video I'm going to be using this lighter, but I would actually prefer you go in with glue, be it nail glue or eyelash glue. That's really going to hold the ends really well without them being, this is going to have a smoother lay to it without the hair like sticking out, because when you use a match they kind of tend to stick out. But I don't have any glue with me at the moment.